Okay, welcome back to English Through Popular Culture. I'm Wu Xianfeng, Jason Grenier. This is part 3 of our lecture on Lily, Rosemary, and the Jack of Hearts by Bob Dylan. We are continuing our discussion here. We are about to meet the 4th major character in our story for the first time. This is Rosemary. Rosemary combed her hair and took a carriage into town. She slipped in through the side door looking like a queen without a crown. She fluttered her false eyelashes and whispered in his ear, "Sorry, darling, that I'm late." But he didn't seem to hear. He was staring into space over at the Jack of Hearts. This verse is loaded with information. Wow, loaded. Rosemary, she combed her hair and took a carriage into town. We said already that if she takes a carriage, the story is set in the past, right, before cars. She combed her hair. Later we hear about false eyelashes. What does this tell us? That Rosemary combed her hair and put on her false eyelashes. What did she do before she went out? Did her makeup, did her hair. So she's trying to look nice, right? She combed her hair, took a carriage into town. She slipped in through a side door, looking like a queen without a crown. This is interesting, because look, Jim makes an entrance, right? The grand entrance. When Jim comes in, whoa, everyone noticed Jim with the hair and the cane and the clothes but Rosemary comes in, she slips in. Slips in means coming quietly, right? Like just quiet. Through the side door, not the front door, not the main door, through the side door. And she's looking like a queen without a crown. I think this is very interesting. Queen, younger or older? A little older, right? We usually think queen is usually middle age or older, right? But she's taken the time to look nice. She's done her hair and she's done the makeup, but she's coming and she's looking like a queen without a crown. We can imagine what it means to look like a queen, right? But what does this mean, looking like a queen without a crown? What do you think that this "without a crown" is to tell us? Something is... If the queen has no crown, something's missing, right? It's like she's like... Don't tell me on the test that she's a queen, okay? She's not a queen. This is not England or Belgium or someplace. This is presumably in America or someplace in North America. Anyway, a queen without a crown. I think this is telling us that there's something missing. And I think it's not just her appearance. I think it's bigger. I think there's something missing in her life. And I think we get a clue right away. Something is missing from Rosemary's life. I'm not going to type Rosemary, okay? We'll just go with R for Rosemary today. All right? So the queen without a crown tells us something is missing. Or it could be the idea that the queen that used to be has lost her status, maybe, you know? Anyway, I get the idea something is missing. I think that's the most important part. So she flutters her false eyelashes and whispers in his ear, "Sorry, darling, that I'm late." But he didn't seem to hear. He was staring into space over at Jack. So who's she talking to? This is Jim, right? Rosemary has come to the cabaret to meet Jim. And what's she calling Jim? Darling, lover, sweetheart. This is a term of endearment, right? This tells us that they're close. Sorry, darling. So she comes in and she's whispering in his ear. So this tells us they're close physically and in all ways, right? She's whispering in his ear. She's calling him darling. And she's fluttering her false eyelashes. So she's done her makeup and her hair to look nice. And now she's fluttering her eyelashes. Why would she do that? To flutter means move them like a butterfly. What's she doing? She's flirting with Jim. She wants Jim's attention, right? She's trying to get Jim to look at her. "Look, darling, I did my hair and I'm all made up and I'm here to see you and I'm sorry I'm late," right? She wants attention from Jim. Rosemary wants attention from Jim. Is Jim giving her attention? No. She says, sorry, darling, I'm late, and whispers in his ear and flutters the eyelashes and everything. But it's like he doesn't seem to hear. It's like he doesn't even notice she's come in. He doesn't say anything. Doesn't say, hey, nice hair, or I've been waiting for you, or I'm glad you're here. Nothing. Nothing. He ignores her. She's trying so hard to get his attention, and nothing from Jim. Why? What's Jim doing? Staring into space, looking at Jack. This newcomer, this new guy. So now we've got Jim ignoring Rosemary and focusing totally on Jack, right? He's ignoring Rosemary and focusing on the Jack of Hearts, this newcomer, this mysterious stranger who we don't know anything about, who seems so charming. So how do you think Rosemary's going to feel? Well, not very happy, right? She's trying. She's doing everything she can to get attention from this man, and she's being ignored. We know that's not a good feeling, to be ignored, especially when we're trying hard. So what do you think's missing from Rosemary's life? If this idea of queen without a crown is, if that's what it's telling us, what's missing? Attention from Jim? Sure. Even just respect from Jim? You know what I mean? He doesn't even greet her, it looks like. He doesn't even say hi. Too busy looking at somebody else on the other side of the room. So we can see, I think, we get a hint here of what's missing from Rosemary's life. Attention. And we see that there's a relationship between Rosemary and Jim. I think we'll do one more verse today before we start our weekend. I think so. Everybody got these notes? Anybody need more time? Put your hand up if you need more time. Take a picture. I'll put this on e-learning anyway for you, so you can always review it. All right? Okay, let's go down here. We'll do one more verse here. I know I've seen that face somewhere. Big Jim was thinking to himself, maybe down in Mexico, or a picture up on somebody's shelf. But then the crowd began to stamp their feet, and the house lights did dim, and in the darkness of the room there was only Jim and him staring at the butterfly who just drew the Jack of Hearts. So Jim, we know, is staring at Jack, right? Looking across the room and staring at this newcomer, this stranger. And as he is staring at the newcomer, the stranger, he's thinking, I've seen that face somewhere. I know that face. I know that guy. And he's trying to remember where he has seen Jack before. And he's going over possibilities, right? Maybe we all know this feeling. We see someone, I know him. Where do I know that guy? This is Jim's feeling. Then the crowd begins to stamp their feet. People are getting excited. The house lights dim. It means the house lights go down. What's happening? Why do the lights go dim in the cabaret? Showtime, right? It's showtime. The show is starting. Now the room is dark. We're in the darkness of the room. Now it's crowd. Look, there's a crowd in the room. But we hear in the darkness there was only Jim and him staring at the butterfly. So there's all these people. There's a crowd. But the crowd doesn't matter. The crowd is not important. The story is about these big characters. So who we got? We got Jim, right? We got him. Who's the other character? The other male? Well, this is Jack, right? Has to be. Right? We got Jim and Jack. And now we've got the butterfly who drew the Jack. Who's the butterfly who drew the Jack? This is Lily, right? It's just a way to describe her, a nice image. This is Lily. Because we know she's playing cards and she drew the Jack. So that's an obvious reference to Lily. She's not a butterfly. Don't tell me that. But butterfly, you know what butterfly means? Sometimes we use it, we say social butterfly. It means people who like are really good at the social. They're really good at, like a butterfly goes from flower to flower. Social butterfly goes from this group to this group to this group, and no problem, always has lots to talk about. You know what I mean? Just going around. We say someone is a social butterfly. Anyway, I don't think it's so important, the name. What I think is important is that there's a crowd in the room, but it's like only these three people are in the room. Who else is in the room? Rosemary. Where's Rosemary? Here. She's not here, right? I think that's important. Rosemary, in the room, there's only Jim, him, staring at the butterfly, Lily. No mention of Rosemary. So poor Rosemary, if she's anywhere, is like way out here by herself, feeling lonely, feeling ignored, right? She's not here. She's not here. Now, this isn't the best. Maybe it would be better if I did it like this. If I put a space in here, and if I put, no, that doesn't work. Anyway, what would happen if I drew a line from here to here to here to here? What shape would I get? This would be a triangle. A triangle between two men and one woman. Triangles between men and women. Do these situations have happy endings? Usually not, right? This is the kind of situation that we read about in Apple Daily when it ends. You know what I mean? Someone has just done something terrible because they're jealous or they're angry and whatever. This triangle that we're starting to see set up here there's going to be problems here. These things do not go well. They don't go well, and they usually end terribly. And we have to think Rosemary is out here somewhere beyond the margin of the page here, feeling lonely and ignored and upset. Right? So we're starting to see where the trouble is going to be here, this triangular relationship between these three with one other woman, Rosemary, pushed off to the side here. And I think that's where we'll leave it today, because we're out of time, all right? So we'll pick it up next week. Next week we have 4 presenters, too. It's another reason I wanted to go a little quicker today. We need the time. Next week, we're going to have Chloe, Alice, Pauline, and Tim do presentations. So you know what to do. Come in early, get everything turned on, put a copy of your PPT on the desktop for me, okay? Thank you very much. That's it. Shaka. Have a nice weekend. Have fun. Be safe. You're welcome. We'll continue this lecture in part 4.